welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are here with a couple guys, and we're going to chat about media centers today. And I'll get everything right. Here I had the time right. I had everything right. I was sitting here. We were ready to go. I just wasn't watching the clock, so I was a minute late. So it's my fault. Again, like usual. Eventually, I think as the more you do this, you become like Linus Tech Tips, right? Where you're always late for your show that you know is coming at this particular time. Oh, that's good. But anyway, how's it going, everybody? How you guys doing?
Great. Had a nice big sub for dinner.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah,
Fine.
they decided to go flat out all Gestapo, and so I'm just not shopping anywhere in this county until they start lifting some of these mask rules. Now officially, the downtown borough put in a mask law. So then it turns out that the president of the university asked all of the other surrounding counties or like the surrounding townships to do the same. Fortunately, the township I actually live in told them to go blow it and said, no, we're not going to do that. I mean, we're half in the woods. And so it's like, whatever. But pretty much everywhere else that has any population, you cannot even go through the drive-through without wearing a mask. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. No.
It's pretty much law here. You can get fined for it.
No, not happening. Not happening. So I will be one of many people pulling out all business ties and things to the local jurisdictions. I'm sorry, but now we are actually now up to three, count them three, random control studies. All of them say don't wear a mask. Every one of them. The last one was from Duke University. There's one from Duke University. There's another one here in the United States from 5 years ago. And there is another one that was just done. It was either Denmark. Is Denmark and Holland? I think that's the same country. It was over there. Or maybe it was Germany. But regardless, they're like, no, don't be doing that. And there's manifold reasons why we're not going to cover right now. But anyway, yeah, so local jurisdiction here in State College is getting interesting. Apparently, though, one of our council people got into a fight with a businessman and started calling them a Nazi, the business person, for saying, I'm not taking any more contracts in State College. I'm not hiring any more people. I'm not doing any more work or business in State College anymore. And she basically got mad about the fact that the business person is saying, I'm sorry, I'm just not doing business with you anymore. And called the business person, the person with the multi-million-dollar business that does business all over the state, called him a Nazi. Oh, it's becoming fun watching local politics. It is hilarious.
Yeah, you wear a mask and you sneeze, and then you double down on the sneeze by sucking it all back in. Instead of taking a handkerchief or going in your sleeve or something like that.
So, yeah, I'm fine. I have to wear a mask to go to school every day.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not at
Yeah.
Penn State where they force you to have a flu vaccine because of COVID. If anyone can explain that logic to me, I'd really like to hear it. Anyway, go ahead, Quinn. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We do get to go outside at least and take our masks off. We'll have like breaks when we go outside, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So I can I can say this right now. This is kind of funny. This happened to me on Tuesday. So I do yearbook at my school, and so I was going around outside. I was on my break when we have our mask break and stuff, and I was just going around taking pictures of students. We just put them like all over random places, just normal stuff for yearbook. And I took some pictures of students that didn't have masks on, and the principal came up to me and told me I had to delete those pictures because it wasn't good for the school.
Welcome to Nazi dystopian America. By the way, we might actually bring dystopia news back because it's getting weird out there again. And so we will probably bring that back for the news. We'll put it last for you guys that think I'm crazy and don't want to listen to it. But I think we are going to pull that back because there's a lot of interesting things going on around the world. One of the local counties here, Lebanon County in Pennsylvania, the governor was withholding their federal aid. So the federal aid went from the federal into the state, and then the state was to distribute it to the counties. The state was withholding their aid until they contracted to spend $2.8 million on a campaign teaching their citizens to wear a mask. I'm sorry, guys. This is starting to sound like Nazi. This is just getting insane. Yes, Rockland, we are going to be talking about media players. I'm sorry, this is my place to vent. So we are going to be getting into media players, and we're just kind of getting up and ramping up to a quorum. So
holding up to tradition, we always start a show with masks.
I know, because it's getting crazy out there, people.
You know what?
How do you teach somebody how to wear a mask?
Well,
Have
I mean,
you got two neurons
I'm just
firing?
wondering if our local governor, who is well known for having his fingers in all sorts of illegal places, I wonder if he has any stake in this $2.8 million that's being forced to be sent in order to get your federal aid. That's interesting questions.
It's gotten so ridiculous, and I won't drone on about it either.
Well,
but
I want to get into comments now, and then we
Yeah,
want to get into media players because we have a
yeah,
quorum of people
we'll
on. So.
move forward. Sorry,
All
I'm
right.
late.
Let's see. Kitty Cam is on vacation again. Yeah, he's right here. It's just this computer does not seem to want to run 3 cameras, at least until we start. So I just don't put the Kitty Cam on for these. I just send them perpetually on Thursday vacations. So 5 Sinclairians go read things quick time, but haven't been on Mac in years and refuse to go back. There you go. Todd B, when is HP going to update their drivers for Linux Mint 20? I have no idea. Let's see. Favorite media player, 4th grade, has to be the guy using 3 blocks of wood to make sounds on the horseback stage because of acting crew on stage sucked. Nice. There you go. That's the best media player right there. Plex is the favorite. I have not used Plex. Anybody here use Plex before?
I had it installed, but I never got around to using it.
I know people who use it. I've never used it though.
I believe it's proprietary.
It is.
There is. I thought I saw something about opening some of the code up at one point.
I think there's a Kodi add-on for Plex, and that's probably open source.
Let's see. Amity says Windows is greater than Linux. Change your mind. All right, just wait until the second Tuesday. When your forced updates break your system. Of course, Adobe had a good update, foofy, this week. All of your Adobe photos got erased on the latest update that you were forced to accept. That's exciting. Let's see. Also not thrilled with Linux Mint. 1920 bugs, regression. Spent the last couple of months working on the Galaxy Note. I don't know of any real issues in 19. I'd be curious to know about those. But 20, I'm still not recommending going to 20 yet because there are still some bugs in 20. Jeffrey does say Holland is Denmark. Yes, I believe that is where the other study was done. So we basically have 3 of them. They all kind of agree. Had to wear an industrial mask at work for about 8 hours. Let me just say that I had a huge headache after about 1 week. Yes. Jonathan says Lollipop is his preferred music player. We will look at Lollipop. Huge effort for the lungs. G-Music is a software store on Mint. It's the best one I've used. Looks like the original iTunes. Okay. Can't take the bus now without wearing one. Yep. Good luck. We're getting that way here. I'm not sure we're allowed to take the local bus in Center County here without a mask either. But yeah, I will deal without. I will find ways, and then I will flee this liberal hellhole as soon as I can.
I don't even know, to be honest, if our transportation system here requires it because nobody uses our transportation system.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah, our transportation system is actually really good in Center County, but it's like, if you're gonna
We have a train that literally goes nowhere, and then there's buses everywhere else. If you look up, it's called MARTA is our transportation system here in Atlanta. It's absolute garbage.
Linux Lover 84 says Kodi for video, VLC for audio, VLC for Streamlink, YouTube streaming, MPV when nothing else works. I avoid Streamlink in Linux now since it crashes too much. Okay. I'm with you on Kodi for video. That's actually my preferred one as well. Although I occasionally will use it for audio on my Arch system as well. Mostly I don't do a lot of audio, so since my Kodi's already set to sync with all of my media files on my NAS anyway, it's just more convenient. Let's see. Hey, made those nice videos about supporting riots. Yeah, who did? Yeah, Windows, Apple. I don't know. Let's see. Define media. Music, movies, maybe pictures. I don't know. Multimedia. I don't know. Watching the news. There you go. Anyone have a Google Play Music library and get a notice it needs to be migrated to YouTube Music? Okay, so Five Sinclairians, yes. So they are closing down Google Play Music in December. I think it's like December 12th or something. You have to migrate your music over to YouTube Music or it will get deleted. So yes, you do. That is a legitimate thing you have to do. Let's
I think it
go ahead,
should be
Mark.
the other way around.
What's that?
Said I think it should be the other way around.
What music? YouTube to
Yeah,
Google
because
Play?
I think YouTube's a dying platform.
No, actually, with YouTube Music, they've integrated all the music videos that they put on NTV. They're now on YouTube also.
Yeah.
Google Play Music is a much older service than YouTube
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. But that's kind of what they're doing. SM Player. That's the other one I was trying to remember the name of today. So I meant to try to avoid SM Player, not Streamlink. Yeah. I think I have SM Player on the Arch computer as well. VLC still have the gray artifacts problem. I don't know. I used the Mac when I was watching a movie on Mac. I would actually use VLC because it would stream with the Open Media LAN that I had on my NAS.
I actually do. I do know a name of a good open source media player for Mac that I think is better than VLC.
Amity says you can disable all those on Windows 10. Only on Windows 10 Pro can you disable the updates, but as of the latest version, you cannot disable them indefinitely anymore. You have to. In fact, I think I just upgraded my Surface Pro. I decided that that's going to be the computer that I use to test Windows 10 stuff. So I actually just upgraded from 8.1 to 10. So I have one small laptop that's Mac. I have one small laptop that's Windows, and everything else can be switched to Linux at this point. And so that's what I'm keeping. And as of now on the Pro, you can't delay updates longer than, I think it might be a month maybe, but in the latest version of Windows 10, you can't delay. Mark, you should know this more. Yeah, what's the status on all that?
What is the issue going on?
Windows 10, the latest version of Windows 10, you can no longer indefinitely delay updates. Do you know any details on that?
Not right offhand. It's been a while since I watched Security Now or Windows Weekly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still go ahead, Mark?
I just kind of fell off from watching them, but I know that 2004 is the latest Windows 10 release, and I'm actually on Windows right now temporarily. I've got to get Manjaro Budgie installed, but I'm not aware of that issue right now. What's going on with it?
Yeah, I believe it was that, but it did upgrade. And for anybody still on Windows 7, Windows 8, you can actually still upgrade the old ones. They even on their official documentation, they say you can't. But if you just go to the Windows downloader tool and just upgrade this PC, as long as you have a valid license with whatever you have, it will still upgrade. So I did that because that Surface Pro was otherwise it was sitting there doing nothing. It was my old writing computer before I was using MX Linux for writing.
Yeah, if you have a set of dice in your desk drawer, just throw them across the desk a few times, and then you'll have a product key.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you Tom? Do you still have the Mac Mini?
I sold the Mac Mini.
Do you use the laptop more though? I assume you probably use the laptop.
Yeah, because the problem with the Mac Mini is since I have like 10 computers and 4 monitors, I was always having to swap around monitor cables. I mean, I could have bought like a switcher or something, but I didn't want to keep them all around. And so it became more convenient if I needed to check something on a Mac, just boot up a MacBook, which also booted a lot faster. It's a better computer overall, and it's all contained, and I didn't have to fight with mice. I didn't have to fight with keyboards. I didn't have to fight and share with monitors. So that's what I used for that. So I sold the Mac Mini.
Yeah, and also what I said is that there's a really good media player for Mac called Ina that's open source, and it's a lot better than VLC.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Ina.
IINA is how you spell it. It's
IINA. All right.
I use it.
For a minute, it sounded like it came from Russia. Hi, Ina.
Yeah.
It's open source though, and I think it uses MPV as its base.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's get a slightly more organized here. And we'll go ahead and get slightly more organized and look at a couple media players. And I was thinking about recording this and releasing it in sections, but I don't think I actually want to dive into that right now. So what we're going to do is I've pulled up the websites of several media players. Most of these I am familiar with to a degree. So there's a couple of these that I'm not quite as familiar with. So we're going to go through these and give us your impressions, what you like about them, what you don't like about them, and then we'll also talk about other ones. Why don't we actually start first before we do that? Let's kind of go in a row, starting with you, Dan. What are your favorite media players and things like that?
My favorite media player, I've come to really appreciate the use of clementine. It is my favorite go-to, along with strawberry, since it's a fork of clementine. I do not, for a music player, like Rhythm Box. I know they package it with everything, and for some reason, I guess it's popular with people or not. The thing I hate about Rhythm Box is when you open it up, it immediately goes to your music folder and tries to populate everything in it. And that just irks me. It's now without not even asking my permission to go into my music folder and populate itself with everything that's in it. So that turns me off right away. Yeah. I have VLC on hand, but I rarely use it because celluloid is so much lighter. It works simpler, it's easier, and most time when I open that, I just want to see one video, and it does just that just fine. I have Sound Converter installed because I have a number of games like American Truck Simulator that actually have a radio in the truck. So it has a music folder in the game.
Nice.
But it only does OGG files. So I use Sound Converter to go from MP3 to OGGs, and then it will take it. I guess it's due to license agreement junk.
Yep. Very good.
Another piece of software that I keep on hand is MP3 Gain. And what this does, it allows you to take a whole folder MP3s and equalize the volume of all of them so they sound the same level when you play them back.
Nice. That's very beneficial for, like, I have some stuff that it got recorded at different volumes, and so I was just turning up and down and stuff. So.
Well, MP3 Gain comes basically as a terminal-based type program for Linux. It's got GUI for Windows. That's where I first found it, was on Windows. But there are some offshoots that are GUI-based. You have to install the MP3 Gain first, and then you got to install the packages for WM MP3 Gain, or Easy, or if you're on Arch, Easy MP3 Gain. There's two of them for Linux for GUI compatibility. I use Cheese, and I found a different use for it other than tele or a video conferencing. I use it to center my camera before I come on stream.
Dan, what was the name of the program called? MP3 Gang? Is that what it's called? Or MP3 Gain?
Yeah, MP3 Gain is the core function, and then there's WM in front of that, or Easy in front of that for Arch.
Okay, I'll have to look that up because that's very handy.
Ubuntu has it in their repositories as a snap, but it's the command line version. I'm using Debian, so I found all the packages to make it work as a GUI.
I'm going to look
at what it does is MP3s, when they're built, has an integer value for the volume of that file. So this thing goes through that integer value of all your MP3s, and then you select plus or minus or whatever, and it shows you, if you got the GUI, how much you have to offset the integer value to get them to sound the same.
Yeah, that's the way it basically does a whole folder RMS normalize.
Yeah, but that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah.
I also keep in my multimedia center the Pulse Audio Volume Control program because that's a lot easier to use than what most distros
Yeah.
file in with it.
That's not a media player though. That's just a volume controller. So
Yeah, Audacity. I use that to work on my music when I actually rip it from something or rip it from a vinyl record, get rid of the hiss, pops, and all that stuff. Audacity comes packaged under many different names since it's open source in Windows. You'll look at this thing in Windows to try and get it, and it'll have some other name like Audio City or something like that. Stay away from those. Those are packaged with malware.
fun. Yeah, just
Yeah.
grab it. Audacity is completely cross-platform, so just make sure you're grabbing it from the Audacity's actual website or in Linux, your repository. If you're on Windows or Mac, just get it directly.
I
from the
have looked
website.
at Lollipop. It looked really nice, but I can't remember if that's one that populates your music folder or not either.
I'm not. I don't remember if it does or not.
It does
so-
populate your music
It does,
folder.
okay.
Okay, then that one would
That's
turn me off
also
too.
on the
I think
list,
you
too.
might be able to turn it off. I'll actually check for
I'm
you right now.
pretty
took-
sure you can.
What gets me is the minute you open these up after you install them, they go right to work, like by default, raid your computer.
Yeah.
Let me
Um,
take a look to see if you can do that.
I've taken a look at Dead Beef, but it's kind of like pretty. It's more bare bones than the rest of them.
Yeah, you can, Dan. There's a folder called, or there's an option called Auto Update Music. If you turn that off, it won't do that.
The thing with audio is the only time is I'm going to have something like Clementine or Dead Beef or Lollipop open is when I'm cleaning this room or something like that, or not using the computer. Because otherwise, I'll go in the living room and turn on Big Bruiser and shake the whole house.
Yeah, there you go. Get the police to show up there again, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan, if you just go into the settings on Lollipop, turn off Auto Update Music, it's under the Behavior tab.
Okay.
Then it won't do that.
But
There are a
yeah,
couple of gripes I have about Lollipop, which I'll talk about.
my
when it's
music
my
folder is not just got, music in it all disorganized. It is kind of organized, but there's folders and within the music folder that I'm actually working on music. And there's folders in the music folder that are actually FLAC files that came right off the record player and have the whole side of a vinyl record in one file.
Yeah, I use my music folder just for music, really. I don't use it for anything that's working.
Yeah. Skybear says on Discord, favorite media player is the Ghetto Blaster, which looks like a combination. It looks like a differently skinned Soundwave from Transformers. It looks like a blend of Soundwave, who is supposed to be blue. This guy's silver like Megatron, but very interesting indeed. Also, Joe, if you want to jump on, I sent you a PM on Discord. If you want to jump on, Joe, if you're still around. All right, Mark, what are your media players on Linux or other sources, I guess?
Yeah, well, I use. They both kind of mess up, but Audacity is trash for me. I was using it for a while, and I switched to Oaken Audio, and I found out about Oaken Audio from Gardner. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Probably some of y'all are with Linux, the Linux gamer Gardner.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, but I found out about it from him. Oaken Audio is just a really simple, dumbed down version of Audacity. It still does a lot of the functionality and everything that Audacity does, but it's more intuitive for me. And I use that when I record audio separately from my videos. So I use audio to record the audio, and then I do separate layers in my video editing that way. Like if I'm doing a screencast or something, I separate that off. Other than that, it's something I've been wanting to do, and I may start tonight because things are finally slow again, is to populate my music into Quodlibet, however you say that. It's like a foreign name. It's a audio player again.
Yeah.
And
Matrix might
if
know
I
what you're
have
talking
to convert anything video wise, I probably use Handbrake. I really don't do any of that anymore. Any kind of multimedia like videos that I watch are typically just online streaming. I I just don't agree with the digital subscription stuff because it just gets too pricey, and at the same time, I can't afford to download like a movie and pay for it or download individually and selecting the films that I want to keep, and I would select enough that it would be too pricey to pay for them outright. So I would just assume, if I want to watch something, just rent it on like Vudu or something. And
about.
Vudu's proprietary.
While we're on talking about streaming for the moment, I did find out and was able to collaborate. If you're retired or disabled, these streaming services will definitely give you a good price break.
Okay. That's good information. Do you know like which one specifically? Have you
I
or
got
all of them?
Amazon to drop my subscription by $5.
Cool.
That's like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. I gotta say, if there's ever any subscription service I would get, it would probably be Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Yeah. For me, it would be Tidal or Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime is so useful for the movies and films they got.
Yeah.
But also for shopping if you're for business.
Yeah,
Amazon makes a lot of sense.
I like Amazon Prime because you get so much stuff with the subscription. You
That's
get
what I'm
their
talking about.
music, you get their movies, you get the 2-day shipping, you get a whole bunch of. I think you get Kindle.
Twitch. You get Twitch.
You get a whole. I don't know if you get Twitch.
The only reason I got rid of mine mainly is because they start, and this is not really media players, but the Amazon Basics and everything, they stop carrying quality products, and they seem to carry a lot more junk these days, and it just degraded in quality. I can't find a lot of quality in what I'm looking for, and I don't want to cheap out. Like, if I get a part, I want it to be brand new, and I want it to be directly from Amazon, preferably from a brand that I trust.
I think you just need to watch where you're getting it from. That's I think what some people don't do as much as make sure it's coming. Make sure it's originally from the manufacturer. And then when it comes, there's still a small chance you're getting a spoof, but you have better chance if you're cognizant about which ones you're buying. So.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, have you just noticed this year, or is from past years too?
Well, I've noticed it in the past. The quality seems to the brands they push a lot of Chinese brands or no name brands in the U.S. as far as that goes, and some of those brands may be perfectly fine. I know that I ordered a jelly comb adapter, and it failed within a week or so, and it just shorted out. I don't.
They're really good though about accepting returns. That's the one thing about Amazon.
Oh yes,
really good at customer
Mark.
service.
I ordered some refilled ink cartridges, not the manufactured ones. And when I went to put them in the printer, and 3 of them were dried up, I filled out a form. They asked no questions. They told me to take it right down to my UPS office, and they know exactly what to do with them, and that's all it took.
Yeah, there's also a court case that was just ruled this week that Amazon's even now liable for third-party seller product breaks as well. So I guess there was a court case going on.
Newegg, but I use Newegg primarily. But back on topic, and then I'll let Quint go, and you can have your. I was gonna say Tidal. Check out Tidal just to finish up.
Okay.
They're DRM, but not really. They're kind of a more acceptable version of DRM, if that's even a thing. They come the closest to being free with the music that you can buy on there. You can buy whole albums at a time if you want to support an artist that you particularly love, whether it be old or new or classic. And you can pay for the album, and then you can play it on like multiple devices that you own or anywhere that you want to, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it's DRM, but you can play it pretty much on the devices that you have. So if you have a phone or something, it's cross-platform. It'll work well. It doesn't work in Linux. However, you can use the web site on Linux. But I know that's proprietary, but I love them because they're high fidelity. Yes, it costs more, but if you're an audiophile and you really care about audio quality, it might be worth bumping up to the 1990. Well, it used to be 1999. I don't know what it is now, but it's if you've got the equipment, it's something for audiophiles. That there's not any other service quite like Tidal, but I really like Tidal, and it's owned by Jay-Z, if I remember correctly. Still,
Yeah, absolutely. Quint, go ahead.
So for media players, I primarily have been using what's it called, Celluloid or Gnome MPV. It was previously called that. However, I think this is just some issues related to my system, but I could not get the latest version to launch. Wouldn't work. And I tried a whole bunch of stuff. I could not get it to work. So it's probably just some kind of bug on Fedora specifically. Yeah. So I had to go back to VLC, but Celluloid is still my favorite player for like if you like for opening like videos and stuff. For music, I use Lollipop. That's probably my favorite music player. And Lollipop is not perfect though. I have a couple things I don't like about it. Specifically, the image search that Lollipop uses by default, it'll just search, like for example, if you have it, it'll just search the artist name or like the image search for like album covers and stuff is what it is. It'll search the artist name or an album and stuff like on Google by default, Google or Start Page or whatever. You can adjust the sources. But by default, when you use a regular search engine, it tends to pull in wrong results. So I had to change it so it only pulled in from sources like Genius and like more music-focused sources. And I think Spotify is an option too. That's one thing that you need to change out of the box. Yeah. Another thing is, like Dan said, if you don't like the auto, it will automatically pull in stuff from your music folder. So you have to. So if you want to turn that off, you have to go to the settings and turn that off. That's not that big of a deal. And I also don't like the suggestions feature that's on by default because I feel like that's basically it'll give you suggestions based on music on your library, which is probably sending it up to some cloud service, but you can turn that off. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I use that. And then I also use Audacity a lot, especially like when I'm recording something or if I need to like specifically edit do some tweaks on an audio file, that's helpful. I use Kodi a lot, especially I use it mainly for playing media and stuff. Like I'll hook my computer up to like my laptop up to a TV and just play stuff from Kodi. That works. And then I'm trying to think what else do I use that's media related. I use Cheese like Dan said, and I also use OBS a lot. I know that's not specifically music. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I have. Let me see. I do use Kid 3 for tagging, and I use Handbrake a lot too for like media conversions. That's pretty much it.
Okay, here's the Sidewinder question. You have a microphone on your computer, and this is the first thing I realized when I bought a microphone. You can talk into it, but you can't hear it back. Only the guy on the other end of the internet can hear it back.
Yeah, so you just got to find one that will connect the two microphones together on a peer-to-peer so you guys can hear each other. Right?
Well, the only way I could check the volume of my mic or anything like that is with OBS, is do a recording and then check it back.
Simple screen recorder, you can do that as well because you can turn on the recording audio with it. So, yeah, OBS, simple screen recorder. Audacity as well will do that. So
it's not like with Cheese. You open Cheese, the camera turns on, and you can see yourself. Hello, but you can't hear yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So mine for what I use Kodi quite a bit, and I have that on the Arch system, which syncs to. I have a media center on my central NAS. So every computer in the network can access all those files. And so there's a few different computers set up to access the media files. So you can use that for video, for audio, for even for photos and things like that. So that's all good stuff there. I use Audacity, of course, for recording. Mostly when I record audiobooks, then I'm using Audacity for that. And I liked Banshee, but it's pretty much defunct at this point in time. So when I upgrade my mobile computer, I will probably just put Lollipop on it, is my guess. That's the next one up that's best for me. Now, we talked briefly about Rhythmbox. I'm not a huge fan of Rhythmbox, but one thing it really does well is podcasts. So if you are into podcasting type stuff, Rhythmbox can actually subscribe to manual podcast feeds, or they can search iTunes libraries and things like that. So
I find
that's a good one there.
I find that Rhythmbox is very cluttered, the interface and stuff.
It is. I hate it. But it is functional for podcasts. Good.
One use for Rhythmbox, though, is it's one of, if you still use iPods, it's probably like the only music player in Linux that will interface with iPods. Nothing else can do that. Like, I haven't been able to get it to work in Lollipop.
You mean this thing?
Yeah, like those kind of, that will work with Rhythmbox.
I'll test it.
Yeah.
What you have to do, though, is you have iTunes like in a virtual machine or something to format the iPod. But then once it's formatted and everything, you can just plug it into Rhythmbox, and Rhythmbox can interface with it.
I did not know that.
I'm sorry. MX
Go ahead.
MX Linux has iDevice Mounter. That'll do iPhones. I would assume it would do.
Yeah. I'll have to experiment with that a little bit. I have an iPad I can plug into Linux Mint, or excuse me, MX Linux. I'll play around with it.
I'm sorry. I love my MX Linux, but I sadly had to get rid of it because, unfortunately, I have to have System D to run one of my programs.
I thought you actually could turn on System D on MX Linux.
You can, but it did not. I troubleshooted and I installed the System D shim and all that.
Yeah. Well, why bother when every other distro in the world uses System D by default, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna install Manjaro Budgie on the other on another drive when I get it in the mail, or I'll probably just move the drive from the laptop. Think of that.
Sleepy Eyes Vince is watching. Greetings, Sleepy Eyes Vince. I hope you're having fun, probably at work, right? Fear the Menace. What's the cat's name? That cat is CJ. I have another cat named TJ that hates the camera, so she will rarely ever be here. Although when I pull out the kitty treats, she might show up for a double catter. Who knows? You never know. Let's see if there's anybody else talking directly to me. Ron, hello. And panel, glad to be here even for a few minutes. Hope as well with everybody. You as well, Ron. Always appreciate that. Let's see if there's anything else I missed that's big. Fear on came late. What are your views on VLC? Me personally, I think it's a very good, very functional thing, although I do think that it's a little at times overbearing and clunky, but it does do the job. So I generally will install it as a multi-purpose media player if I just need a single media player for occasional use. I like it. Anybody else have any strong opinions one way or the other?
For all intents and purposes, VLC is the only player I've found so far where you can just drop a DVD into your DVD drive on your machine for those that still have one. And it will play it just like it's on your living room TV. It gives you the menu and all that.
Yep.
I've gotten it to work with I keep forgetting the name of it, Celluloid. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of it, but I've gotten DVDs to play with Celluloid. I think it's just a matter
just the movie or the whole menu.
I think it's just I don't know if I've gotten the menus to work, but I think
they
it's
work
just
in VLC. You can go to the sub menus and everything.
I think it's a matter of having libDVD CSS on your computer.
Yeah, that's really what you need. The other one actually that does DVDs really well, though, with menus and everything is Kodi.
Oh, of course. Well, it's made for that.
Yeah.
MX Player, maybe? MX Player? course, that might just be.
I don't know.
Thinking that was for Linux.
John M uses Clementine for media library playback. Sleep Guys Vince is using he is using Windows Media Player in Wine, of course. No, Windows Media Player, not Windows Media Center. Is it Windows Media Center or Windows Media Player? What are you playing there, Vince? We need to know.
Windows Media Player is not very good. I think Windows Media Center I thought was pretty good. I remember it still from the Windows 7 days.
I actually love Windows Media Player. That's why I liked Banshee, because it was the closest thing I could get to your to the Windows Media Center or Media Player, which I liked. Media Center, I was never.
I actually like that too. As a good player, the only thing I didn't like is it put a bunch of album art files in your folder, and it hid them. So you had to unhide your folder. And you'd see all these album art files in the folder with your music.
Yeah, I never really used Windows Media and Windows Media Player.
It was very simple out there, easily, is well built. I mean, you didn't have to read the book to figure out how to use it.
Windows Media Center, though, I thought back in the Windows 7 days, I thought it was pretty good. I never really messed with it too much, but I thought it was pretty good. Although Kodi nowadays is...
I think one of the problems I always had with the Media Center is that it did not have a windowed mode. At least I've never found it. Like, Kodi has a windowed mode. You can toggle between the windowed mode and like the desktop environment. And
I think the whole point was that you would hook up the computer to a TV.
Which I don't do that. Like, I'm working. I need something to be playing in the background, and I need my computer while I'm doing stuff. So
the Windows Media Player is an extension of Microsoft Zune.
Drovo Rub in the news. I have not seen anything about just alleged Drovo Rub, Vince. I will look into it. But I will be putting together news articles tonight, so I will see what that's all about. If I remember to look at that sticky note.
Oh, it's about the Russian thing hack for Linux.
Oh, yeah. I saw something like that.
They got another name for the kit for it. It's called Something Bear.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Articles in Forex mentioning it was coming. Yeah, I did see something about that. I can't remember if I threw something in the news though or not. I don't always throw the security stuff in there just because I'm not all that knowledgeable on it all. So, if I'm tight on articles, I'll put a security one in there. If I have an abundance of articles, then I do. Yeah, send me some links on it, and I will absolutely have a look at them. I'll be looking at it tonight.
The Windows 10 update issue. I'm not having a problem. It's working the pausing of updates so you can resume them. You can even hit it multiple times now to extend it out even further, which I think is a really nice feature.
Yeah.
Those that are a little more wary of updates.
Yeah, there was something in the latest release notes though about
the kit is fancy bear.
They're stopping you from being able to delay upgrades perpetually.
Gotcha. And that's coming, or is that in
I thought that was in this release. But admittedly, I don't follow a lot of Windows release stuff.
Right.
So but I remember reading that. And
I
thought that applied to this
my
release.
time on Linux, so I miss things, and I have to kind of come back and revisit things too.
Yeah.
I put the link. Windows.
I put the link for that article for the Linux malware in the chat for the
I'll have a look
browser.
I switched to the LTSB builds of Windows a long time ago, so I don't even know what's in the what's in the builds.
Yeah, I think the version I have should have the new Edge, which if it does, I should pull it out and play with it a little bit and see how it is.
My new Edge is busted.
But is it? Yeah.
I wonder when it'll come to Linux, because they say Linux is coming soon.
Yeah, they've been saying coming soon for like 6 months. I've been excited. I don't know what's going to get here first, my Pine tab or the Linux Edge.
Do you think it's going to get to the point where Word gets not Word, but Microsoft Office gets ported to Linux?
I don't know. That would be an interesting thing. I still wouldn't use it because I actually think LibreOffice is better.
I feel like there would be some people who would use it though. If
There
they
would
needed
be.
some
It
specific
would
reason.
be a huge thing to port. It would be a valuable thing to port. I personally wouldn't use it, but it would be a good thing to port.
Yeah, it would
and-
help a lot of people that swear that they've got to. People have in their mind that they have got to run Microsoft Office. I'm telling you, you don't. But if they ported that, it would
Depending-
probably help a lot of people move
Yeah,
over
I
to
mean,
Linux.
Yeah, but it
There's-
wouldn't help the shareholders.
Yeah, but there are actually some applications that someone does legitimately need to run it for some silly reason.
Yeah,
but-
it could be something minute.
but
makes a
there
difference in their workflow.
that is a valid argument. So I
Yes.
think that it would be cool. Now,
Yeah, you're right.
You do always have the ability, though, to use the cloud-based version on Linux. I mean, you can use the cloud-based version anywhere. So they probably would not port it because they're trying to push everybody to the cloud-based anyway. So my guess is they probably wouldn't support it for that particular reason. They don't want people to be buying it. They want people on the cloud.
Right. Well, did they not? What? It's because it's legacy software. They want to move everybody to Microsoft Office 365. So I think I see what you're saying. But why would they even be supporting that? Period. I mean, I guess they could open it up and make it open source compatible with Linux. Is that what you mean by porting it over?
Well, yeah, I mean having the desktop version of software, although admittedly what I said maybe not be completely accurate because they want people on the annual subscription, which does actually come with a shell program to download and install. It's like a rolling rather than a point release though. So that's actually better. So yes, it would make sense in that case to have the client for Linux. I think that would be, and if Microsoft keeps going the direction they're going, they might very well do that.
And they don't seem to be as evil as they used to anyway, but
I disagree with that.
I still don't trust them, but I mean, at least they're trying to appear like they're less evil.
Oh yeah, well that's always what your
They're
enemy
just
should
better
do
at
for
getting
the
it.
better. Yeah, they're better at hiding their evil. So
Yeah, that's as I say.
Which is not any better. That's worse because it's disingenuous and it lulls people to sleep. Like many in the Linux community, I agree with you as far as word processing and Excel spreadsheets. I have used LibreOffice for years and years. I have converted documents. I always save to native Word or native Excel, XSLX. And I never have nobody ever has an issue if I send the document.
yeah, it's the number of people that are going to have an issue is so infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
Yes, there's going to be that 1 in 10,000 people. I think you will have a better chance of dying of coronavirus than you will have dying of finding an Office document that won't open right from LibreOffice.
Well, if it was not opening right for them, it probably was corrupted from the get-go because of some malware on a Windows machine or
Something like
which
that.
direction it's coming from.
Yeah, it like LibreOffice 7, there are some instances where you're going to have some issues, so I'd still install LibreOffice 6.4 if you can.
I always use the steel and I never have issues. With the fresh on LibreOffice, I do tend to have some bugs. I always use the steel because it's a mission critical purpose.
Yeah, like the app image for LibreOffice 7 on this computer with Linux Mint 18.3, it crashes. I can't use it here, but I thought maybe is there a problem with the app image? No, I tried it on 19 and it works just fine. So there's some component or something that's out of date on this system that if I eventually pretty soon, I'm probably going to have to upgrade this computer to something else, but we'll see what happens.
You were talking about podcasts before to jog your memory.
No, well, no, I'm good.
Apps.
I'm
I
good.
think we're all done.
I think we've covered most of the apps. And see if there's anything else we might need to chat about.
Specifically, I have a question for the chat as well. What, like you guys that do enjoy podcasts, I don't think we specifically touched on the specific podcast apps other than Rhythmbox. What do you guys use? Because it is something that there's a lot of them out there. Are there any specific open source podcast apps that you guys would recommend on the panel or in chat?
Like podcast apps. I don't do a lot of podcast type stuff. So honestly, I can't really comment on that a whole lot. But as far as
there are a few open source.
Yeah, there are a lot. The guys that know more about podcasts could probably answer that question better. Dan, do you get into any of that at all?
No, that's why I have a pile of vinyl records in a Madhouse stereo.
Yeah.
I can't stay focused when somebody's just talking and I'm not seeing nothing or anything like that. My mind just leaves a complete, conversation on a podcast.
The only time I would really listen to podcasts would be when I was on an airplane. And since nobody's flying anymore, I don't even really listen to podcasts. But that's when I would listen to them. And I used an app. I actually use them more on my phone. And I used an app on F-Droid called AntennaPod that I really liked.
AntennaPod, okay.
Mm-hmm. Anna Rita mentioned this, and Keith Richardson as well. G-Podder. I've actually looked at that one before as well. The thing I did not like about G-Podder is it puts the files in a completely separate odd directory. Whereas Rhythmbox puts them directly into your music folder. So depending on which way you want, but G-Podder doesn't have all of the rest of the bear problems that Rhythmbox has. So G-Podder is definitely one to look at.
There are podcast apps that will give you video as well. And I'm sure some of them you might have to pay for. I don't know.
I can't figure it out for the life of me. I can sit down and listen to an audio book and just enjoy the pants out of it.
Yeah.
When I get into a podcast, it's like I'm listening to the evening news in a weird format.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffy asked if podcasts are still a thing, but they are. Podcasts are actually a massive growing thing, actually.
Yeah.
Before we go, do you guys want to see how Rhythmbox works on an iPod? Here, I got the iPod out right here.
Really quick, hold on a second. Sleepy Eyes Vince is using Castbox, not FOSS, but allows syncing across devices so you can move from your car to your computer. Okay, so if you're needing that type of situation, Castbox. Okay, go ahead, Quint. Let me see if I have a way to share the screen.
I can share my screen here is what I'll do. Let me do that.
I do. I have a desktop view. All right, so it won't have everything, but it'll have most of it. All right.
Let me see. So here's Rhythmbox right here. This is why I hate Rhythmbox. It just throws all this random stuff here. But so when we plug the iPod in, which you guys can't see, I just plugged the iPod in. It should come up.
iPod cracked.
See right here, there's the iPod right here. And I have music on here that I haven't synced yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we hit sync here at the top, just like iTunes. Come on. Okay. It just froze up.
And you said you have to format the iPod specifically for this?
You have to use Windows or Mac. You have to use iTunes to format the iPod. Then after you do that, you can hook it up to Rhythmbox. But Rhythmbox just froze on me here. Hold on. Actually, it's probably my keyboard.
On
Fedora really.
If you see the hard drive that I showed you, if you hook it up to the gizmo I showed you and plug it into your USB port, you format it to FAT32, and then you can just stuff it in the iPad and it's done.
Yeah.
Hit sync. Let me make sure it doesn't seem. Actually, I think I have to go here and hit sync. Sync isn't doing. Maybe it is all synced. I don't even remember. I might have already synced everything, so I really can't tell you.
It might be synced. Yeah.
But typically, we just run through its syncing thing. My keyboard, there it goes. My keyboard, Bluetooth on Fedora really sucks. I have to unplug my Bluetooth adapter all the time.
Yeah. Is that maybe just the
all my
adapter?
artists. Yeah, I think I don't have everything actually in here. The sync button doesn't seem like it's working though. It worked before.
Does it strictly sync it to your music folder?
Yes.
When?
See, if you look sync preferences right here, you can see it says all music.
Right.
Yeah, top rated. There's also podcasts, and there's a couple other things in there. What were those?
I'm gonna have to try that antenna pod
Right.
later.
So
And you said this works just with older iPods, right?
I think it works with any iPod. I don't think it works with like
How old at this point?
I don't think it works with like an iPhone or something.
Tom,
It works with
try and pull up your terminal, and why don't you try this sudo apt install, or if you're on Mint, I guess you're on your Mint machine.
I'm on Fedora.
Well, if you're on Fedora, you do sudo dnf install, or sudo apt install.
It's DNF.
Device mounter. iDevice.
What is it called?
I think it's called iDevice Mounter in MX. Now, the program name actually may be a little different, so I'm not sure.
I'll do a search for it.
But that is the iPod mounting and iDevice.
iDevice. I'm just going to try that. It doesn't seem like it may not. Let me click back. Oh, it did actually. Let me see. Yeah, there's something right. No,
Yeah,
anything.
that I don't know if that's it. Yeah,
That's not it.
But
I thought. Let me see. Let me try this again. It worked last time I did this. It just doesn't want to work on cameras.
you try as
Yeah,
well.
it's
Tom.
like taking your car to the mechanic, man. Jeez.
Do what now?
It's like taking your car to the mechanic. I swear, it's making this funky noise. Take it to
Because
the mechanic.
last time I did it, it worked perfectly. You would hit this sync button, it would refresh everything. It just doesn't seem like it wants to work today.
I don't know if it'll work with an iPhone because iPhone doesn't have a dedicated music player anymore. It's now iTV.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, what's the... let me check.
Yeah, I don't see, it's not really working right now. But
The iDevice mounter is most likely in the Debian Ubuntu repository, if not in
I'll
Arch.
try to see if I can get to work off camera, if it's just a camera issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it later, and I'm gonna look on. You know what? I may not run Arch because the packages are just more stable with Debian. I'm seriously considering going just straight Debian.
What's the name of that again?
Oh, the iDevice mounter.
Yeah, if there is something new for music on iPad, I am actually able to delete it because I probably deleted it.
I still got to do my folder plus thing that Dan told me about. I haven't got around to doing it.
Yes, GPotter does have its own home folder. I guess that's is actually a benefit for some people that want that. Let's see.
Come on.
It didn't come up with Debian.
Yeah, Microcrap will likely have a snap pack for Office for $199 with a coupon, 50% off for proof of Bill's new vaccine. Oh,
Really? Oh, he's joking. Is he joking about that?
I don't want to get into all that
shock
today.
me.
I mean,
if they were to pull something like that, weirdly, it's the dystopia is real. You remember what you said all these past streams about? We're going to be treated as second-class citizens. If
we're already there. Is it? I think Dave Cullen of Computing Forever on his Gab account, he posted a picture of in a park. It's like they took these fences and they put them like 6 feet apart, and then each family, I guess it was like for some celebration or some outdoor concert or whatever. So it was basically fence groups 6 feet apart, and each group can only be occupied by one family unit. So you can go to an outdoor park and your family is inside, and then he put right underneath it pictures of cattle, like sheep and a fence. And it was just like, yeah, that is just glorious.
Wow.
That's exactly it. I know I downloaded a copy, but I don't think it was on this computer. I think it was on Another computer.
I watched him.
The sync button just doesn't seem to be working. I don't know why it's not working. I might just have to reformat the iPod, but typically you would hit that button, it would go through your music library and it would sync the stuff that's not there onto the iPod. But like I showed you, you can change where it syncs from.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find. Come on. Give me that. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, come on.
This doesn't seem to be working, but this is literally the only reason I use Rhythm Box. It's just so I have that. Otherwise, it's just so clunky and it's very cluttered.
Yeah, it's rude.
Like, did you see how all my music literally was in a list there? That's not.
Mine does that the minute I start it up after I do an install.
Yeah, I think Rhythm Box is the worst.
Yeah, if you look compared, like I can share my screen again. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing, but yeah, I can. If you guys who haven't seen Lollipop yet want to see what Lollipop looks like, but it's just so much better.
Back to.
No luck on the iDevice mounter.
Look at how much better this looks. Like, so you have your album list, you scroll through this, whatever. You can just click on something. You have all your music here.
Well, that's what the Microsoft Zune software looks like.
That's why I like Rhythm Box, or not Rhythm Box, Lollipop so much. It's just so much better. And Dan, if you want to look in the preferences here, if you click on right here, behavior, auto update music, you turn that off and it won't do that.
Okay. I just like Lollipop because I can go to the file folders option and pick the music out of it I want and just throw it in a row and build like a short playlist.
Yeah.
And it'll rifle through it all and it'll be done.
Yeah, this is the other thing here. Under web, you want to make sure you turn off Google, Start Page, DuckDuckGo, and Wikipedia because they'll pull stuff that's not correct.
Yeah. All right. I found some of these photos. I'm going to move them on over here so you guys can see them. All right. So here it is. Here is the you guys on the stream. Sorry, you'll have to just watch the feed there. But there is the people in their social distance groups. Looks just like the cattle. So got to be careful of that. Yeah. Welcome to society. And he actually just posted a new one today, which is just glorious. Yeah, have a look at this one. Welcome to your children's new school, guys. Yeah, that just
Wow.
What the?
Yeah.
That is
It's hashtag time to homeschool.
Yet the family members are standing right beside each other. It's like, God almighty.
We're
It's-
sheeple.
it's doing-
Oh, God, man. It's like you're in a voting booth on that one.
I know, right? The poor kids
What
in
is
school.
the point? It's not. We are by nature social creatures.
You're testing at the DMV.
God,
Those things,
that's child abuse.
those things that go over the desks, we have them on some of the desks, but the teachers just end up taking them off because they're so annoying.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's like,
That is terrible.
So I'm doing a fun experiment. I'll kind of cue you guys into it now. So which world are we closer to, Brave New World or 1984? Well, for the long time, 1984 is the most popular, but American Society was way more like Brave New World. It just wasn't as popular of a book. We are merging into 1984. We've experienced Brave New World for long enough. Now we're merging into 1984. So I'm actually read Brave New World. Now I'm reading 1984 again. And then I'm actually going to read Amusing Ourselves to Death, which argues, this is in the 80s, mind you, but he argues that our world is closer to Brave New World. I think it might be about time for an update because we're getting much closer now to 1984 here in the West.
I need to read those on audio.
I'll tell you, though, it's like, okay, not allowed to do anything, and it's very interesting. Now we just need the babe, the pig to herd everyone in. There you go. Let's see. put colors in mine now. Let's see.
And if everybody follows along and doesn't fight back and doesn't raise a stink, if the kids and the kids' parents are forcing them to follow the rules and the kid feels like he can't say anything or stand up because he's just going to be shut down because he's just a kid, that's such a bad situation. And I feel for these kids that are thinking independently like Quint and stuff and Pizza because, my God, oh my God. And like for us, Tom, we run a business. We try to work with the general public and keep our doors open. And we don't want to push any customers away. But there's a feeling inside me that I have to speak out and I have to say how crazy this is. It's just, and it's like you can't.
We all know it.
Well, we're getting to like the secret handshakes and signals and trying to figure out that some of us are like, do you think it's kind of crazy? I think it's kind of crazy. I just don't want to say it too loud. I think this is getting nuts. I don't know, man. What do you think? And eventually you'll find people that you'll kind of agree with. It's kind of becoming like the old time Christians where you'd have to come by and when you would draw half the fish and would draw the other half the fish is a sign that you're both Christians. Ooh, because you'll get killed if you weren't. Well, it's getting that way. It's getting that way today.
If you guys have any questions about what school is like with COVID, I'm happy to answer anything.
Yeah. And ask them really quick because we are over time. So we'll wrap this up. I will be streaming on my Christian channel tonight as well. And so we will be we are starting the book of 2 Peter. So if you missed 1 Peter, then sorry about that. You can go back and watch all of the edited versions. But today we will be doing 2 Peter, just kind of starting it out. And I'll go ahead and drop the link for that. So that is going to be at 9 o'clock Eastern time. That would be 50 minutes from now. If you are interested, come on over for that. Let's see. But
I'm going to hop off early because I got to make a call and I want to make that 9 o'clock stream.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you.
All right, see you there. I hope to see you there for sure.
Later, Mark.
All right,
see you. Bye.
Good. See you. Bye. Wife and I were holding hands in the grocery store, and one person said, "Distance." I said to her politely, "Lady, we sleep together in the same bed. Why should we hold hands?" I know, right? It's like, no, it's insane.
Trying to think. So we have the way it works is that you get your temperature checked. So I don't do carpool anymore. I don't know what that's like. I go to a private school, so there's no buses or anything. Most people will carpool with other students and stuff. I drive to school.
Can't be doing that. That's a super spreader event right there.
What?
That's a super spreader event right there.
Yeah, I don't do that. I drive to school, so I don't know what carpool's like. But what they'll do is you'll go up and they'll take your temperature. You'll go into school. They make everybody stand 6 feet apart in a line. Then they'll check you off the list to make sure you're here. Then they'll make you get hand sanitizer. Then you go to your first class. And everything's spread out 6 feet apart and stuff. My school, there's a limit to the number of kids that can be in one class regardless of COVID. It's always been that way. So I don't really have issues with a whole bunch of kids in a class. So we're able to spread out. Yeah, we have those shields on some of the desks have them, not all of them. But there's the shields on the desks, and then the teacher the teacher basically doesn't come up to the students as much. And every time you go outside and stuff, you're required to use hand sanitizer when you come back in. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything else.
That sounds dystopian. So do you like 1984?
Not really. There actually is. My school is still doing a virtual option, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
are you guys reading that? Are you reading a book called that?
And I think that's going to be contraband soon.
What?
1984, guaranteed.
The year or a book?
A book.
Okay.
Hey, they already tried.
I wasn't sure what you're talking about. I loved 1984. It was one of the best times of my life. That's when cars really flew down the street and drank a lot of gas, and there was hardly any computers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I think we're gonna have to jump off here for now, though. A little bit of taste of dystopia, a little bit of taste of Linux media players. Definitely an interesting one, but we'll see what happens. So we'll be starting about 45 minutes on the other channel. Link is up there in the comments. And thanks for hanging out, everybody. Tomorrow, weekly news roundup, and where there may be the return of the dystopian news because yeah, it's getting that way. All right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next time.
Later, everyone.
Bye.